I loved you, and love, perhaps, has not died out in my heart. The poet is the unacknowledged legislator of the world. Brevity is the sister of talent. Fame is a magnifying glass. Oh, how easy it is to be clever if one does not know all the facts. Life is a storm, my young friend. You will bask in the sunlight one moment, be shattered on the rocks the next. I have outlived my reputation. My actions speak louder than my words. Words are like leaves, and where they most abound, much fruit of sense beneath is rarely found. An age is called dark, not because the light fails to shine, but because people refuse to see it. The powerful and the rich are not permitted to suffer from the consequences of their own actions. All ages are equal, but some ages are more equal than others. I do not know why we are here, but I'm pretty sure that it is not in order to enjoy ourselves. When the heart speaks, the mind finds it indecent to object. The poor in spirit suffer more than the poor in body. A hero is someone who can stand up for what he believes in. A poet's mission is to make his feelings rhyme. We live not to learn, but to be happy. To criticize is easier than to create. Life is like a game of cards. The hand that is dealt you is determinism. The way you play it is free will. When a man is happy, he is in harmony with himself and the world. No matter how happy a woman may be, she always wishes to be happier. A good heart is better than all the heads in the world. A thought that is not put into words is not a thought. There is nothing more difficult than explaining a joke. A noble heart will always capitulate to reason. Faith in oneself is the best and safest course. The most difficult thing in life is to know yourself. The man who is worthy of being a leader of men will never complain about the stupidity of his subordinates. The only way to deal with fear is to face it head-on. There is no wisdom like frankness. A friend is worth all hazards we can run. There are occasions when it is undoubtedly better to incur loss than to seek gain. Let us love, since that is all our heart contains. It is the imagination that makes a man so happy and so unhappy. To give happiness is the privilege and joy of life. The wise man does not know what he is talking about. The fool thinks he does. Success, they say, consists of getting up one more time than you fall. Do not try to add years to your life. Try to add life to your years. A desire to resist oppression is implanted in the nature of man. I have made a ceaseless effort not to ridicule, not to bewail, not to scorn human actions, but to understand them. The soul cannot be humbled unless it is first exalted. The eyes are the mirror of the soul. The good we do is never lost, it always lives on. Genius is not the ability to make one's own ideas prevail, but the ability to discern the best ideas and bring them to fruition. A man is happy so long as he chooses to be happy. The best way to resist temptation is to yield to it. Jealousy is a terrible feeling, but not as terrible as a life without love. There is nothing so necessary to man as the truth. The person who truly loves you is the one who sees the pain in your eyes while everyone else believes your smile. Silence is the perfectest herald of joy. I were but little happy if I could say how much. A moment of patience in a moment of anger saves you 100 moments of regret. The greatest happiness is to know the source of unhappiness. A man is free in proportion to the number of things he can afford not to do. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. The greater our knowledge increases, the greater our ignorance unfolds. I am a dreamer. I know so little of real life that I just can't help reliving such moments as these in my dreams. The way to avoid criticism is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. I am a part of all that I have met. A true friend is someone who knows everything about you and still loves you. Genius is patience. The most difficult thing in life is to know yourself. To live without love is not to live at all. It is not the road ahead that wears you out, it is the grain of sand in your shoe. We often take for granted the very things that most deserve our gratitude. To be happy, we must not be too concerned with others. The greatest gift of life is friendship, and I have received it. We are shaped and fashioned by what we love. The best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. In every man's heart, there is a secret nerve that answers to the vibrations of beauty. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. A moment's insight is sometimes worth a lifetime's experience. Talent is a gift that brings with it an obligation to serve the world, and not ourselves. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. The human soul is hungry for beauty. Our deeds determine us, as much as we determine our deeds. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched, they must be felt with the heart. Life is a gift, and it offers us the privilege, opportunity, and responsibility to give something back by becoming more. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. If you want to change the world, change yourself. The only way to have a good life is to stop worrying about a good life and start living. The secret of success is to be ready when your opportunity comes. The best way to predict your future is to create it. The difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has its limits. The world is a tragedy to those who feel, but a comedy to those who think. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. We become what we think about. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Be the change you want to see in the world. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Happiness is not a goal, it is a byproduct. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. He who seeks beauty shall find it. What is more difficult than to achieve the pinnacle of one's art? To learn to be true to oneself. Happiness is a choice that requires effort at times. It is better to have dreamed 1,000 dreams that never were than never to have dreamed at all. The best way to avoid being unhappy is not to have a word for it. What we learn with pleasure we never forget. One should not trust everything one reads, or hears, or sees. Life is a fairy tale, it is up to us to give it a happy ending. I love life too much not to live it fully. People can stand what is true, for they are already enduring it. A good man sees the world as it is, but he looks for the best in it. Without freedom, no art lives only on the restraints it imposes on itself, and dies of all others. Hope is a good breakfast, but it is a bad supper. A man who is not afraid is not aggressive. A man who has no sense of fear of any kind is really a free, peaceful man. We can have in life but one great experience at best, and the secret of life is to reproduce that experience as often as possible. It is sometimes better to be silent than to tell others what you feel. The man who is worthy of being a leader of men will never complain about the stupidity of his subordinates. The only way to deal with fear is to face it head-on.